Welcome to this video for Rise of the Ronin. It is essential tips to get you started and for those people who might have missed some key information that's going to help them along the way. We're going to have ourselves a good old time on this video, so lock in. Before we do, I want to say I do have two channels. One is going to be the main guide channel, which you're on right now. And then I'm going to have the Let's Play and extra guides, tips, and tricks. This game is massive and I want to cover it and cover other things as well, everything I play. So you can come to the live streams and also check out the videos as we go forward. Let's get into it. And this is going to be a deep dive, guy. There's so much content and so much things to break down. So we're going to jump right in. And I want to start off with something that I talked about in my previous video, but I didn't give you guys a deeper reveal. And now we're going to, after you make your character, you're going to see a great option that's going to help you decide how to start off. This is critical for a couple of key reasons because there are some really good story things and as well as gameplay enhancements that you can do. It is called Blade Sharpening Origin, and this is pretty much your starter class. Do not worry about this too much because you're going to be able to switch and upgrade everything to 100 or possibly more. But as you can see here, the killer class has a bonus skill to start off with that's going to let you counter spark arrows and blades. This is critical because arrows and blades are getting shot at you at all the time, and bullets as well. I'm sorry. Bullets and arrows will be shooting at you, and you can basically counter spark them, aka parry them. So this is going to be a very critical skill to have if you want to start off. Then you have the rapid assassination. It's going to allow you to do assassinations. And this is something for a stealth player. If you're really focusing on that play style, go for it. Okay. And then we want to get into what I think can be probably the most important, which is the liar. The reason for this skill right here allows you to lie to people during narratives. When you're talking to somebody, you can lie to them and pretty much get away with something or kind of manipulate them to get what you want. And this could be a good tool for those who are trying to utilize it to their advantage. Okay. That's number one thing to kind of just look at the moment. Okay. And I understand that not everybody is going to be for that lying part of it, but it's helpful too. Then you have, of course, the more tanky build, which is going to give you medical supplies. And the last two slots, beginner, is basically a default balance build. And then unsharpened means you have no skill boost points or anything like that. All right. That's critical to understand how this game works when it comes to certain elements. And I wanted to kind of start off with some of that, give you guys a guide on how it all works. And then we're going to keep on going down a rabbit hole as we continue in this game. So lots of stuff to get into. And I definitely want to go down the rabbit hole with you guys here. I'm going to take a moment to showcase this specific story branching breakdown. Okay. There's literally key components in the game that you can do when it comes to the story and narrative. You can go with the anti shogunate or the pro shogunate. And of course, you can do neutral. Now, doing these things within the game, there's times where you're going to have to decide who you want to go with. And the key component here is that, yes, it does play a big role because you can get a lot of rewards. You can get a lot of good items in the game for that. So take a moment every time before you make a decision to see what you can get out of it. Because let's say you're not worried about the story and you don't care about the outcome, which I do, which I have some videos on how to break that down and do the best you possibly can. But in here has all the good stuff, some new weapons, some new items. So make sure you take a moment to look at that. And that's going to help you along the way. And that is a big deal in this game, in my opinion. And speaking of big deal, when it comes to gear, there's gear sets, aka for you to add buffs and bonuses and things that will help. You're going to be able to deal specific type of extra bonus damage if you equip a certain amount of the same gear set. Make sure you do that. It's going to be pivotal as you go forward. All right. And then now I do want to get into a couple of key things when it comes to skills and to go down the rabbit hole. This is a big conversation, and we're going to have to do a separate video breaking it all the way down. But I'm going to give you guys a brief look if you want to pause it as I talk about it and see for yourself each skill. We'll do videos about that later. But in this skill tree, what you want to pay attention to is strengthening your specific playstyle. Do not waste skill points unnecessarily. Look carefully, take your time, and or if not, just check out my guide on the skills on what to start off with and to go from there. But it's super critical that you take your time, look through this to be able to unlock the best possible things. There's a lot of different ways to go about this. It honestly depends on your playstyle, but focus on that. And adding to that, there is a second skill tree, kind of like a skill tree, the technical development, where you're going to unlock specific things for your character and being able to upgrade other aspects that are going to be critical. As you can see right here, again, that is all through the bond system, which I want to talk about as well and show you guys some of that system because it's super critical. And we're not going to go too deep into it because I want you guys to figure this out on yourself. Everything you're seeing is very early on. There's not a lot of spoilers here, but you're looking at the anti and the pro shogunate. And in here, each character will have an actual reward in the game that you can pick up. And that's super important because they're going to hook you up with nothing but the best. As you can see, depending on the character, they'll have different rewards that are going to boost your character, give you new armor, maybe some weapons, new combat styles, which are super critical in this game. Okay, pay close attention to that. And speaking of the combat styles, we want to get into just a little bit when it comes to the combat styles. There's plenty of cool combat styles, in my opinion, and you want to be able to just test them. Okay, you're not stuck on one class, you can swap around anything as long as your skill tree is working, which we'll get into in another video when it comes to scaling the right weapon for your playstyle. But what I wanted to talk about is the combat styles. You can equip them and change them and put on whatever complements your specific playstyle. Let's say you're extra aggressive or maybe you're defensive. I have a video breaking that down when it comes to combat and what type of play you need to do when you're in this game. Super fun and interesting and exciting to say the least. So make sure you do that so that you can be locked in for the day. Now you're wondering, okay, how do I unlock all these skills and do all the things that you're talking about? Because I do want to get better. Well, I'm going to show you a little something as you're watching the martial arts attacks happen. Right here, you have weapon proficiency, but you're going to level up your weapon as you use it. It's very basic, nothing too crazy, right? But this is the key right here. If we want to pay close attention, you have the actual skills XP that you can get from leveling up. Then you have your karma. Karma is the number one tool. As you can see, there's a certain amount of karma you have to get. And when you reach that specific threshold, you'll unlock a skill. And that skill can be used to use it on the skill tree. And this just keeps going on and on. But if you die, it'll drop on where the enemy is, and you have to take that enemy out to get it back. And that's the system that you guys know from Souls-like games. But you will never lose XP, is my point. You're always going to keep that as you level that up, but the karma will definitely expire. So be careful when you're out there. All right. All right. And I want to talk about this is probably something you were wondering. New Game Plus, it's pretty much confirmed to a certain extent. As you can see right here, it's talking about a new nightmare difficulty. And if you played Wolong, you know you can go on to the next difficulty and get better weapons, better gear, better items. And so this is going to be the same type of system. You can progress in here and pretty much replay the game in the new difficulty, getting new rewards and so on. I don't want to dive too deep into this, but that's just me wanting to show you pieces of what is possible in this game. All right. Now, let's talk about the Longhouse. And we're not going to go too deep down the rabbit hole, but this Longhouse right here, it literally has everything you need. You can rest here, you can repair, you can redesign, change appearance, talk with your companion, do some co-op. There's so many different things that you can do in here. We're not going to go deep down the rabbit hole. Maybe you can come check out the second channel for that and see what it has. But the point behind it is this is your hub. This is where you build relationships. You invite other AIs or players. Um, when I say players, I mean like going into a mission if you want to start a mission and all of that good stuff. But you could see the outfits, being able to make sure you put on what you like rather than, let's say, your armor doesn't look too good, where you can switch off what it looks like at least. All right. There's plenty and plenty of good details in this game like this that are super helpful for players. And I'm hoping that you see the quality in that. And one thing I love right here is the night system. Super amazing stuff. But yeah, so that's a system that you want to see and you want to figure out for yourself and understand fully. That way you'll be good to go when you play this game. Okay. Take your time and figure all that out carefully, and then you'll be all set. I want to take one quick moment to give you guys probably the number one question about co-op. Yes, there's 3-player co-op. Right here, you when you go onto your long haul, like we just talked about, Longhouse, or on a banner, you're able to recruit some allies. You can go and change the difficulty and the mission, and then basically recruit anybody that you want in this game. So that is a very cool thing to be able to play. Now, this isn't open world from what I've heard. I haven't got to test this myself. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a preview on that because I know it's one of those big questions everybody keeps asking. And I totally get it. You're not alone. And I'm going to be co oping on my live streams. So make sure you come through those. All right. Well, this is kind of the quick breakdown of some of this. We do have specific guides that you need to know about. Go ahead and check that out right now as it pops up. We appreciate you guys. Peace.